You campaigned and you ran on a return to civility, and I know that you dispute the characterization that you called folks who would oppose those voting bills as being Bull Connor or George Wallace, but you said that they would be sort of in the same camp.
No, I didn't say that. Look what I said. Go back and read what I said and tell me if you think I called anyone who voted on the side of the position taken by Bull Connor that they were Bull Connor.
Do you want to be on the side of Dr. King or George Wallace? Do you want to be on the side of John Lewis or Bull Connor?
And
that is an interesting reading of English. I assume you got into journalism because you like to write.
And now, according to a new poll, Biden is polling at 33%. Hey guys, my name is Jason Wesley, and this is not a podcast. Biden's approval rating drops to a new low of 33% on concerns about his handling of COVID economy, leaving many Americans that voted for him thinking, I think I may have made a big mistake. Back in August of 2021, when Biden was polling much higher than he is now, a reporter questioned him about Americans no longer finding him competent.
Fired in the last week, a majority of Americans, and forgive me, I'm just the messenger, no longer consider you to be competent, focused, or effective in the job.
I haven't seen that poll.
Of course he didn't see that poll. But he still keeps demonizing Americans that are unvaccinated.
The fact is, this has been a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Unvaccinated. The unvaccinated overcrowd our hospitals, overrunning emergency rooms and intensive care units. The unvaccinated patients are leaving no room for someone with a heart attack or in need of a cancer operation. The unvaccinated also put our economy at risk.
It's like the administration thinks that the vaccine that they didn't have anything to do with is the only treatment. This administration is so hyper-focused on being vaccinated that they're blind to what the rest of America has been awoken to for the longest time, and that's natural immunity.
The world recognizes natural immunity. We don't. Because everything in this country has to go through the pharmaceutical companies. Natural immunity is the best kind of immunity. We shouldn't fire people who have natural immunity because they don't get the vaccine. We should hire them.
McDonald's house to evict families with unvaccinated children.
I went down and I'm like, is this real life? Like, are you guys actually doing this? And then she authenticated the letter. Like, everybody who comes here, as far as I know, I don't know if it's just people with leukemia or what, but you get given a social worker. And we had to reach out to the social worker ourselves and say, what are we going to do? Like, they didn't say, oh, we're going to set you up at the hotel while you're figuring out. They didn't give you a game plan or anything. They're just saying, we're going to set up a room, we're going to set up a QR code, and you're going to scan it. And if you don't scan that QR code, you're gone.
But hey, at least Joe Biden's polling better than Kamala Harris, who is doing things that she should have been doing, and the things that they should do, she's doing.
At what point does the administration say, you know what, this strategy isn't working, we're going to change strategies? 6 former administration officials last week wrote that open letter urging the administration to change course, to change strategy. Is it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
I don't know which is worse, that response or Al Sharpton fighting with his teleprompter.
But resist we much. We must and we will much about that be committed.
So then Craig Melvin says what everybody else in the world has been thinking and saying.
At what point does the administration acknowledge these people aren't going to get the shot? They're just not going to do it.
I don't believe in giving up on people, Craig. I really don't.
Now, ladies, imagine if you kept telling a guy no, I don't want to go out with you, and he responds with, I just don't believe in giving up on people. Apparently, if you tell Kamala no, she's just going to say,
like I, again, tell a lot of people I mentor, I eat no for breakfast.
Even the leftist Supreme Court judge, Justice Sotomayor, said that there was 100,000 children in hospitals.
We have over 100,000 children, which we've never had before, in serious condition, and many on ventilators.
If a patient is in serious condition, they should be hospitalized. Johns Hopkins Medicine describes a patient in serious condition as being, quote, acutely ill with vital signs that may be unstable and not within normal limits, unquote. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, there are 580,000 new child COVID-19 cases reported as of last week. However, only a small fraction of them are serious cases. An average of 830 children ages 0 to 17 were admitted to the hospital every day during the week of January 2nd to the 8th of 2022, according to the CDC. Data from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services shows that as of January 10th, 2022, 4,661 children were hospitalized with suspected or laboratory-confirmed COVID-19 cases. So we can verify Justice Sotomayor's claim is false. There are not 100,000 kids with COVID-19 in the U.S. in serious condition.
There hasn't been 100,000 children hospitalized from COVID since the beginning of the pandemic in America.
So it's overcounting the number of children who are, quote, hospitalized with COVID as opposed to because of COVID.
Jen Psaki was asked about this during a press briefing.
Are you worried that there's misinformation that is being spread, so much so that even a sitting Supreme Court justice has an inaccurate picture of things?
Again, I'm just not going to weigh in on a specific legal argument made in the court.
But didn't the Attorney General just say that COVID misinformation is a public health crisis?
I issued a Surgeon General's advisory.
The U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, calls health misinformation an urgent threat to public health, saying American lives are at risk.
I mean, doesn't misinformation like that lead to people hugging their family like this?
So your arms are through the bottom one, okay? My arms go through the top one.
The point of, oh my gosh, I just can't handle this. I just need to hug her. The kids need to hug her.
Sheets of plastic protect 85-year-old Rose and let everyone have a hug without potentially spreading the virus.
And she opened it right there. On their porch was her parents, wearing plastic suits that covered them from head to toe. They even had snorkels so they could breathe. The couple had fashioned the suits out of plastic and disinfected them and put them on right before they knocked on their door. Darian says all her parents wanted was a hug from her sons.
Maybe the ones giving the misinformation are actually the ones that are in charge. Maybe it's the CDC director. Maybe it's the Biden administration. Or what if it's Dr. Fauci himself? Dr. Rand Paul has already challenged him before Congress, but now Dr. Oz is challenging Dr. Fauci as well.
I'm challenging him, doctor to doctor, to actually argue about the merits of vaccine mandates, about ignoring naturally acquired immunity. So if you've actually had the illness, why would that not count as protecting you like it has for all of known human history? And what about these inexcusable delays with therapeutics? And I'm not just talking about right now, although it is a catastrophe now that we don't have monoclonal antibodies and any of the pills that we think might work, but some of these pills have been around since before COVID started. So what gives? How is it possible that in America, which is 4% of the world population, we have 15% of the world deaths? I think Dr. Fauci is basically the J. Edgar Hoover of public health. He's a petty tyrant. He got COVID wrong. He continues to get it wrong. I keep hearing from people inside the public health space and outside, regular doctors like me, that he's not managing this correctly. So let's get to the root cause of why this is occurring. And I want to specifically go over the issues that they've been so confident about that they've gotten diametrically wrong.
So now that the vaccine mandates have been struck down from the Supreme Court, I believe that Joe Biden and his entire administration owes the American people an apology. All of those people that lost their jobs because they chose not to get vaccinated, they should get rehired. They should get back pay. And Joe Biden needs to get on his knees and apologize to the American people.
You just wrote essentially saying this is Joe Biden doing what Joe Biden does.
Yeah, well, I never imagined how quickly this would all unfold. The person they sold on the campaign, the nice old, moderate grandpa who just wanted to help everybody get along and compromise, is not what we got over the last year. He has no mandate really to do much of anything. It's amazing that he got a couple of things done when the mandate was really pretty clear. 50-50 Senate, a near 50-50 House, and a pretty close presidential election. The mandate was simply replace Donald Trump and don't do anything drastic or stupid. And everything about this agenda is extremely drastic. And he's been angrier than I think people expected. He's been more divisive. He's been more partisan. You look at the issues. We built 5 years of coverage on Trump out of Russia, COVID, and democracy. The president at his press conference invites Russia to invade the Ukraine. We got more deaths under Biden than Trump. And now we have the president and vice president and leading Democrats question the legitimacy of the 2022 election. Are we any better off on these three issues that we crucified Trump over? I think he has a lot of political problems, and an AP poll came out this morning. Only 28% of Americans want the sitting president to run for re-election, and fewer than half of Democrats. This is a disaster.
Will you be my alibi?